Hey, it's a great day. I'm Mike Current, Energizer, and in this video, I'm heading to Oxford, Maryland. So let's do this. I sailed out the Patuxent River, up the Chesapeake Bay, past the Little Choptank River, then into the Choptank River, the Trayvon River, and to Oxford. This is the first day I've had any decent wind of any significance. So, I mean, I'm not going that fast, but I'm going to take it. This liquid natural gas transfer point along the Chesapeake Bay. For obvious reasons, they are very security conscious. You really don't want to sail too close to them, otherwise they will come out to greet you. The wind died about noon, so I motored up the Choptank and the Trayvon River to Oxford. I'm anchored off the Strand, this section of land on the north side of Oxford. I tried going in the canal and anchoring there, and it's notorious for bad holding. I had good holding, but I just didn't like what the swing was, and too close to the shallow water, so I came back out and anchored here. Nasty storm just north of me. It's okay here, but hopefully it stays that way. Eastern shore and along the bay north of me is getting pummeled. Now there's a storm to the south of me. I took the opportunity between the storms to put out another 20 feet of chain. It held good, but you know, we'll see what happens now. Really bad storm last night, and so between the two storms, I put out another 20 feet. I had 100 feet of chain out, and then between the two storms I put out to 120, and then this morning I got up and put out another 30. So I'm sitting at 150 feet of chain out. That increases my scope to 10 to 1. So I think I'm ready for the potential storms that might hit later on this afternoon. I use a snubber on my chain. That's the 4 ropes coming down. I actually built that myself, and what it does is it adds a little give with the 4 ropes. It gives a little give to the chain because the ropes will stretch. But it also, if you look, it lowers the point of pull on the boat. So instead of being way up on the bowsprit, the pull is right at the water line, which actually improves my scope ratio. And you can see it just as it pulls a little bit. You can just see how the wind pulled, and you can see the chain going. But that's how it works. Windlass is good for getting the chain up and down and the anchor up and down, but you don't want the constant pressure on your windlass. Got to relieve it. There are 4 ropes, 2 on each side. One goes to a cleat on one side, and then the Samson post on the other side, and the same thing for the port and starboard. As far as other ground tackle, my secondary anchor is the CQR. It came with the boat. This is the quintessential plow anchor that's made. It's a quality piece, but I do not think they work very well in the mud of the Chesapeake Bay. I think the newer style anchors like the Spade, which I have, or the Rockna, actually dig in more to the mud. And then lastly, my third anchor right here is a Fortress. Today is my first full day in Oxford, and I don't think I'm going to get off the boat today. There's a heat warning throughout all this part of Maryland. It's going to get into the high 90s, and with increased humidity, they're expected to have potential for severe thunderstorms this afternoon and into the evening. Last night, that's what happened yesterday and into last night, and yeah, it was pretty interesting on the boat. So today I think I'm just going to chill out, do some reading, relax, and just not get off the boat, just kind of watch the wind, try to stay cool. All right, they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Talbot County. That's where I'm at. I can't see anything yet, but on the western shore of the Chesapeake Bay, it's getting pounded, so it's only a matter of time before it gets here. Knot winds. That boat came off its anchor. Just trying to get control. Right there. He got his anchor up, and he got off the shoaling there. So he's probably heading to the other side to just motor through the storm. Not sure what's going on. They lost their bimini. Must have got ripped off. A little thunder still. But storm's pretty much done with now. Boy, that was spooky, about an hour and a half. Had sustained winds up to 45 miles an hour. That was yeah, that was intense. All good now. Like many of the towns along the eastern shore, stepping into Oxford with its brick sidewalks and well-preserved 200-year-old houses is like stepping back into the 1950s. Downtown Oxford consists of the museum, the Scottish Highlands Creamery, the Oxford Market, and then a coffee shop. There are 3 restaurants in town: the Capsize, the Docks Sunset Bar and Grill, and then the Tavern at the Robert Morris Inn. The first 2 would be considered upscale casual fare, and then the last one at the Tavern, that's just upscale. There are 2 museums in town: the Oxford Museum, one-room museum that goes into the history of the town and the surrounding community, and then there is the Water's Edge Museum. The one place, the one must-do if you're coming to Oxford is to visit the Water's Edge Museum.
Welcome to the Water's Edge Museum, located in Oxford, Maryland. This museum celebrates the Black founding families on the Eastern Shore. One artist, Ruth Star Rose, had a connection with the African Americans in Coppersville and Evansville, Maryland, and from that connection, she portrayed African Americans in a very uplifted and dignified manner. We have these prolific oil paintings here. These are the Black families on the Eastern Shore. We have Clarence Shields playing the guitar here. He has roots to Bellevue, which is across the Trade Avon River. Bellevue was once a self-sustained African-American married town. They had their own seafood turner factory company, and they employed about 100 African-Americans during a time period between 1980 and 1997. And so Oxford, Maryland has such rich history for the African Americans on the Eastern Shore. This museum highlights the workers of African Americans, their contributions to the Eastern Shore. I like to highlight Dallas Curtis here. He was a proud sailmaker here in Oxford. He had a studio on Tillman Island. And so just the history that Oxford and Bellevue and the Eastern Shore contribute to the large story of how the African Americans have survived and how they're doing well is a great contribution to this area. So yeah, please, we're doing amazing things. We have a very good relationship with small children groups and also with young adults. And so people come here and learn about African American history, Eastern Shore and around at large. At the Trade Avon River, it is the Middle Pastures port marker. The last ship disembarked slaves July 4th, 1772. And so understanding that slavery was in Oxford, Maryland, and understanding from slavery, we have these amazing African Americans who sustained the land, they worked in the water, and they raised their children to be amazing people. So please come to the Water's Edge. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
Stepping into the Water's Edge Museum is a visually and emotionally powerful experience. To help commuters and tourists avoid the long drive around the Trayvon River and its tributaries, there is a ferry between Oxford and Bellevue that carries cars, bicyclists, and pedestrians. I've got a neighbor. He dropped kind of close to me. He has an electric windlass. Now that is a beautiful boat. Today I'm heading to the town of Easton, Maryland, and because it's 11 miles up the road, I'll be taking my bike. Nestled in the heart of the Delmarva Peninsula, with a population just under 20,000 and its picturesque historic district, Easton is considered one of the best small towns in America. Portions of the 2006 movie Failure to Launch, starring Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker, were filmed in Easton. And my trip to the small town would not have been complete without a visit to the Academy Art Museum. I returned via the highway on the northern side of the Tread Avon and crossed the river using the Bellevue Oxford ferry. Well, that was my time in Oxford. Hope you enjoyed the video. The song you heard was composed and performed by Emet Baker, or Quickbeam, the young man that I walked the first quarter of the Appalachian Trail with. Just an incredibly talented individual. As I've said before, I don't monetize my videos in any way. I just enjoy making them and for family and friends. And if you want to come along, that's great. If you don't care for the video, well, the price is right. So I'll be pulling up the anchor tomorrow and heading for the town of Cambridge. See you next time.